สวัสดีค่ะยินดีต้อนรับสู่บทเรียนที่ 4 High Class Consonants in Reading the Thai Script. In our previous lessons, you have completed the middle class consonants, the tone rules, and also 10 vowels. Let's see what you are going to learn in this lesson. In this lesson, you will learn 6 consonants belonging to the high class. Actually, there are 11 consonants belonging to this class, but the rest of the consonants you will be learning in the next lesson, lesson 5. You will also learn the tone rules of the high class, and you will learn 4 more new vowels. And in this lesson, we will use more consonants as the final consonants. In our previous lesson, we have used บอใบไม้ and นอหนู as our final consonants, but in this lesson, we will also use กอไก่ and ดอเด็ก which you already know these 2 consonants. And also you will see new consonants งองู and มอม้า as final consonants in this lesson as well. We will start by learning our new consonants belonging to the high class. Let's start with ขอ khày. ขอ is the sound of this consonant. Khày is the name of this consonant, which means eggs. You can hear that when I make the initial sound of this consonant, ขอ ขอ, I'm making it in a rising tone because the natural tone of this high class consonant is rising. Our next consonant is ขอ khùat. ขอ is the sound of this consonant. khùat is the name of this consonant, which means bottle. Even though this consonant is still in the Thai alphabetical list, but you will not see this consonant is used anymore. You will not see a word written by using this consonant. The next one is ถอ thǔŋ. ถอ is the sound of this consonant. thǔŋ is the name of this consonant, which means bag. The next consonant is หอ hìip. หอ is the sound of this consonant. Hìip is the name of this consonant, which means box. But this is a specific type of box. It's more like a treasure box. Our next consonant is ผอ พึ่ง ผอ is the sound of this consonant. พึ่ง is the name of this consonant, which means bees. Here comes to our last consonant. ฝอ ฝา ฝอ is the sound of this consonant. ฝา is the name of this consonant, which means lid. In this part of the video, you will see how to write these consonants and where you can find them on your keyboard. Now we are going to talk about the tone rules of the high class consonants. In our previous lesson, you have already learned the tone rules of the middle class. You have learned the tone marks and how they are used with the middle class consonants. If you are watching this video right now and you have no idea about what is the tone rules, what is the concept, and what are the factors that can affect the tones of the word in Thai, please go to watch the introduction video and also study lesson 1, 2, and 3 before you start this video. Because I'm not going to talk about those foundation anymore to not make the video too long for you to watch. So we are going to talk about a high class tone rule in this video. First, we will look at the open syllable words between middle class and high class. In the previous lessons, you have learned that the middle class consonant, which is the open syllable, has middle tone. For example, กา จาน บิน ปี ดู ตัน. And here you can see the characteristic of what it is considered an open syllable. However, for the high class consonant, open syllable is not the middle tone. Do you remember when we learned the new consonants? The high class consonants. When I pronounced the initial sound of the consonant, I made it in a rising tone. For example, ขอ khày, ขอ khùat. That is the natural sound, natural tone of the high class consonants. So when you see words that is use the high class consonants and it is the open syllable, you will read them in a rising tone. For example, ขา หาร ถิน ผี หู ฝัน. You can hear and you can see that for the high class consonants, you don't see any tone marks on these words, but these words have a rising tone, not the middle tone. And that is the one different thing between the middle class and high class tone rules. Now we will look at the rest of the tone rules of the high class consonants, which is exactly the same as the tone rules of the middle class consonants. Here is the closed syllable words, and this is the, again, characteristic of what is considered a closed syllable. And for the closed syllable words of both classes, they have low tones. For example, กะ จาบ บิ ตีบ ดุ ตูบ ขะ ทาบ ผิ หีบ ผุ ฟู. And the last part of the tone rules is the use of the tone marks. You are familiar with these tone marks, ไม้เอก ไม้โท ไม้ตรี and ไม้จัตวา. And you can see that for both middle class and high class, these tone marks give exactly the same tone. For ไม้เอก it gives low tone. For ไม้โท it gives falling tone. But for ไม้ตรี and ไม้จัตวา, you will not see these two tone marks are used with the high class or even low class consonants in the later chapter. So these two tone marks will only be used with the middle class consonants. And that is all for the tone rules for the high class. Let's practice reading these words together so you can hear the difference between the middle class consonant and the high class consonant. กา จี บู โปน ตอน ขา ถี หู ผล ฝอน กะ จิ บุ ปบ ตอบ ขะ ถิ หุ พบ ฟอบ. Now we will practice reading words with my egg tone mark and my toe tone mark. So you can see that both middle class consonant and the high class consonant words have exactly the same tone. กา จี บู โป ต่อ คา ที หู โพ ฟอ กา จี บู โป ต่อ คา ที หู โพ ฟอ. Now let's look at some more consonants that we will be using as the final consonants. In the previous lesson, as I said, we have used บอใบไม้ and นอหนู as the final consonants. And of course, when the word ends with บอใบไม้, it is a closed syllable. And when the word ends with นอหนู, it is an open syllable. Now we will add 4 more final consonants, including กอไก่ and ดอเด็ก for the closed syllable, and mama, ngongu for the open syllable. For nonu, mama, and ngongu consonants, you will see them again when you learn the low class consonants. But for now, we will use these 6 consonants as the final consonants only. This is going to be the last thing you will learn from this video before we combine everything that we learned so far and practice reading the actual words in Thai. These are the 4 new vowels. You can see sara e, sara e, sara e, sara e. Now we will practice reading some words with sara e and sara e. Ke, ke, he, he, te, te, pe, pe, fe, fe. And just now we have read words without the final consonants, but this time we are going to read words with the final consonants. And you can see that sara e has the change form from this original form into this change form. Let's practice reading. Kem, kem, hen, hen, theng, theng, pet, pet, fake, fake. And here are some of the meaningful words with sara e and sara e. Pen, hen, te, pet, jet, game, eng, pe, heng, cake. Now let's practice reading sara e and sara e. Cat, cat, ha, ha, ta, ta, pa, pa, fa, fa. And the same thing, we are going to practice reading words with final consonants. You can see that sara e has the change form as well. Kang, kang, hem, han, tag, tag, pap, pap, fat, fat. And here are some words with the meaning from sara e and sara e. Kang, gạ, tạ, bạ, hang, thảm, ga, pan, fat. In this section, you will see how to write these vowels and also where you can find them on your keyboard. And here is the summary of our lesson 4. you have learned 6 high-class consonants, including khày, khùat, thǔŋ, hìip, phพึ่ง, and phá, and you learned that khùat is no longer used anymore. You have learned the tone rule of the high-class consonants, and you know that for open syllable words of the high-class consonants, it has rising tone. You have learned 4 vowels, sara-e, 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 and you learned the change form of sara-e and sara-e. And in this lesson, we also use gõ gai, đo đếch, ngõงู, and mõ má as final consonants in our reading practice. And that is all for our lesson for today. If there is anything you don't understand from my explanation in this video, you can leave your questions in the comment below. And also you can visit my website to review lesson 1 to lesson 4 that we learned so far. In our next lesson, lesson 5, you will complete the list of the high-class consonants and you will learn 4 more new vowels. There is going to be a lot of things to learn from now. So please make sure that you learn lesson 1 to lesson 4 well before you go to lesson 5. So I hope this video is not too hard for you, and I will see you in the next video. วันนี้ขอบคุณค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ